So what we'll do today is to revise last week's new topic, which was asking permission and something else, and then today we'll introduce last week's new topic, which was toki and saying when, which is a whole barrel of fish. Right, let's go and have a quick revision of this slide. So is this, has anybody not seen this before? Giving advice, expressing a preference and asking permission? Monya, okay. Let's go through it a little bit more steadily then. Okay, so from when we did comparators, you might remember we had hodor no hoga tiriu yori or kides. We also had this form to put a verb into the plain past tense and put hoga ides, which means it would be best if you did this verb. So verb in the plain past tense, hoga ides. For example, Kim, how would you say it's best if you come to the seminar? It's best if you come to the seminar.
Seminar ni itta hoga ii desu.
Okay, yeah, good. So this would mean it would be best if you go to the seminar. This is fine. This is fine. So seminar ni itta hoga ii desu. Good.
Kita?
Yeah, kita hoga ii desu ne. Cool. So for example, takusan yasai o tabeta hoga ii desu. Takusan, a lot, yasai, vegetables, tabeta hoga ii desu. It's best if you eat lots of vegetables. And then to make the reverse of this, to say it would be best if you don't do this, you shouldn't do this, then we put this verb into the plain negative form. For example, hi Joseph.
Hey.
Still living out of boxes?
Kinda.
I can tell by the way you're wedged up against the wall.
Oh, well, that's not exactly true because the boxes are in another room. So
okay.
This is quite okay.
Right. So Kelly, how would you say would be best if you didn't
move?
Yeah, good.
What's to move?
Ugoku.
Ugokunai hoga ii desu.
Yeah, good. Ugokunai hoga ii desu. Good. So for example, hayaku unten shinai hoga ii desu. Hayaku, quickly. Unten suru becomes unten shinai in the negative. Hoga ii desu. It's best if you don't drive quickly. Everybody okay so far? Cool. So this is talking about ides. This means good in the objective, universally accepted sense. But if you want to say preferable, so as far as you're concerned, to make it personal, you can replace e with mashi. This makes it preferable. So I would rather do a verb. So for example, let's see, Martin, how would you say, I would prefer to drink beer?
Let me unmute myself. Biruga tabeta.
No, not eat it. You're not drink. Not. It's not English bitter or Guinness.
Oh, that's true. Biruga yonda hoga moshi desu. Mashi desu.
Yeah. So it's nom. To drink is nomu.
Nomu, not yomu. No.
Yeah.
Nonda.
Yeah. Nonda hoga mashi desu ne. So if it's beer we're drinking, the particle is going to be beer. What?
Oh, probably beer wa.
No. It's the mark the object you're doing something to. Biru.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, exactly. Biru o nonda hou ga mashii desu. Biru o nonda hou ga mashii desu.
bloody particles.
Yeah, don't worry. They'll come. They'll come. I mean, even people in the advanced group still sometimes mess up, or actually seems to be one which people kind of quite often replace with ga for some reason. Okay, so this is all kind of saying it would be nice if you did this. I prefer if you do this, but we can give some stronger advice with Becky, which means you should. You should. So the way to make this, Kim, go ahead.
Maybe a small question. So in the previous, what you have to do with the verb, like in the ta form and the nai form, is exactly the same if you use mashi instead of e.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
if you think about it, this is just an adjective that you're throwing in there. If you could say, it would be more cunning to eat Tom's chips. Then, if cunning, you know this word cunning?
No.
Like sly, cunning. Somebody who plans something very. Do you know Machiavellian? You know you know Machiavelli?
No.
Monia, can you spend 10 minutes with Kim after this explaining the history of Machiavelli, please?
Yes.
Somebody who's kind of planning to kind of beat other people. Hey, Aga.
Leap.
Thank you, Tom.
Leap.
Leap.
Thanks.
Leap.
Leap.
So if you wanted to say it would be much more liep to eat Tom's fries, then you could just say Tom-san no fried potato o tabeta hou ga, and then the word for liep, which is zurui. Zurui. Yeah. Zurui desu. So anything can basically go in here. It's just that when this form of sentence is very commonly used to say, as a convenient way to say, it's best if you do this. It's best if you do this. A little bit like the same way that when we say, you must leave tomorrow, we use the nakareba narimasen, don't we? But this sentence in itself contains nothing in particular. It's a negative bar conditional, nakareba, and then it's got a consequence at the end, narimasen. It's bad, it doesn't go, it's not good, it's not cool. But you could put anything at the end of there as an adjective. You could say, sushi o tabenakereba, takusan sushi o tabenakereba yasemasu. If you don't eat lots of sushi, you will get thinner. So anything can go in these adjective places. It's just that nakareba narimasen, tabeta hou ga ii desu are kind of standard sentences which are used for this kind of expression. Yeah. So for this is kind of not only slightly stronger advice, it's also a little bit, the sentence itself is a little bit less formal. To put the verb into the infinitive and then just put bekides after it. Bekides. Oh, that is liep slu listig. Oh, so slu, is this pronounced slu? Sorry, Tom, you said?
Flu.
One more time?
Flu. Flu.
Flu?
Slew.
Slew. This almost certainly originates probably from a Germanic word, which English has also adopted to say sly. Yeah.
I just have to think, hello, with the glasses. It is Leclerc. He was cunning.
Ah, exactly, yes. Yeah, exactly.
Swedish as well, slug.
Slug.
So it's almost the same.
It could be a Scandinavian origin then, maybe. Not sure. Yeah, it is Leclerc. I am in disguise. Right, so yeah, this is slightly less formal and slightly stronger. Verb in the infinitive plus bekides. For example, sense no shie or kiku bekides. Tom, this means?
It would be best listen to the sensei's explanation.
Yes, good. It will be so. Yeah, you should listen to the sensei's explanation. Good. If you want to invert this, then we just simply put the verb to keep the verb in the infinitive, and then so just say beki dewa arimasen. So beki just means like kind of advisable, almost not compulsory exactly, but saying, you know, morally you should do this. You should do this. So it's either you should or you shouldn't, with either beki des or beki dewa arimasen. For example, Monya, hamono o motte iru toki ni hashiru beki dewa arimasen.
Hashiru is
Run.
ah, okay. Run. Hamono o motte iru.
Are you wondering what hamono is?
Everything.
Oh, okay. So let's go through this slowly. So what is from your knowledge of the Ido, what is the ha? What's this?
Ha.
Like the hasuji or the hasaki. What does this mean?
Hasuji, the direction. No.
So suji means direction, but the ha means the blade. The blade. So this means
This?
blade. Blade. Blade.
Ah, blade. Ah, blade.
Yeah.
Okay.
And mono means this means thing. So this basically means anything, a blade, and a bladed object like scissors, knife,
okay.
combine harvester, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So sharps. They're called sharps. Actually. Sharps.
You
Or
should not take a blade when you run.
yep. Can you say the whole sentence again? Sorry.
You should not take a blade when you run.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So so basically it says when you're holding a blade, hamono motte iru toki, hashiru beki dewa arimasen. You should not run. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. We got something coming on there. Okay. Right. There's a reason why you've suddenly now seen Huey Lewis singing "That's the Power of Tear," because we will then use this for the next part. To ask permission to do something. If we're asking a positive request, can I do X? Then we put the verb into the te form and then say mo ii desu ka? So let's see, Tobe, how would you say, can I watch this movie now?
この映画は今、
この映画、sorry, この映画を、
この映画を見てもいいですか?
Yeah, good. 今この映画を見てもいいですか? So this, for example, 明日劇場に行ってもいいですか? And this means, Joel?
Tomorrow, is it okay if I go? What is gekicho?
Anybody know gekijo?
Theatre?
Yeah, theatre, exactly.
Theatre, okay. Yeah. Tomorrow, is it okay if I go to the theatre?
Exactly, good. This more here, this means even. So actually more crops up quite a lot in Japanese sentences. And it's used to kind of soften this question. And it actually means, is it okay if I do this or not? So is it okay if I do this or not? Now, if you make the sentence without the more, it's still a permission asking question. You can actually drop it, but it makes it a little bit stronger, a little bit less formal actually. So my advice is to learn this form, te mo ii desu ka? Te mo ii desu ka? To ask, go ahead, Joel.
Is it the same particle mo that we use when we're saying like me too or something like that?
Watashi mo. Yes, it is.
Is it the
So
same thing?
yeah,
so it's the same meaning. Okay.
Yeah. So there's two more sounding words, isn't there? There's more, the long more ippai, so one more glass, and then there's mo, which mean the short one means even or two, too, or as well as, yeah. yeah, to ask to be omitted from doing something, to say, is it okay if I do not do this? Then we put the verb into the plain negative, formed as nakute. So, for example, is it okay if I don't do the? Let's say, is it okay if I don't go to the theatre? Gekijo ni ikanakute mo ii desu ka? So we put the verb into the plain negative and put nakute in the place of nai. So iku becomes ikanai, becomes ikanakute. Ikanakute mo ii desu ka? So Joseph, how would you say, is it okay if I don't listen to Enya anymore?
Enya o kikanakute mo ii desu ka?
Yeah, good. Enya o kikanakute mo ii desu ka? You can say anymore by putting at the beginning of the sentence just the word more in this long more. Enya o kikanakute mo ii desu ka? Shinu made, until I die. Good, yeah. So kusuri o nomanakute mo ii desu ka? So aga, this means
is it okay to drink this medicine?
so not drink, but
Take this medicine?
yeah, but it's the negative. To not drink this medicine. So kusuri o nomanakute mo ii desu ka?
Not drink.
Yeah, yeah.
So is it okay to not drink this medicine?
Yeah, exactly. Good. Again, this more is kind of optional, but to keep it polite, I would leave it in there. Okay. Any questions so far, guys? We've got just a little bit more bit on Becky to do before we do exercises.
Do you think these younglings know who Huey Lewis is?
I think Kim didn't know, which is surprising because he's a DJ. Kim, do you know who Huey Lewis is?
If I know Jerry Lewis.
Not Jerry Lewis,
Oh.
Huey Lewis.
Hugh? No, I don't know him.
Still no.
Power of love.
Yeah. Does any Joel? You must know Huey Lewis, surely. Yeah. Good. So Joel does. Anybody else know Huey Lewis?
Of course.
Tom. Oh, good. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Back to the
Part of rock and
future.
roll.
Right. Exactly. Back to the future. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay. Hip to be square. All that crap. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any problems? Right. Okay. So let's just quickly go back to Bekides. So this is to say you should do this, and this is you should not do this. Let's just really understand what this means, because there's actually some wiggle room. There's room for maneuver, a room for misunderstanding here. So this is called Becky Goes Bad. Right at the top, to say, for example, every day you should eat vegetables. So mainichi yasai o taberu beki desu. So we can use Becky for this to say every day you should. Now there's then a little bit of a spectrum of things you shouldn't do. So mainichi niku o taberu beki dewa arimasen. This means it's not really good if you eat meat every day. You shouldn't really eat meat every day. So you can use Becky dewa arimasen here. This is fine. To make the advice a little bit stronger for more critical things, for example, itsumo sake o nomu beki dewa arimasen. So this means you shouldn't really drink alcohol all the time. Yeah. Sorry.
Shit.
Especially if you're in court. Yeah. Yeah. So these are kind of just still saying you shouldn't really do this. To say you must not, for example, unten suru mae ni sake o nomu, like drinking alcohol before driving, you can't use Becky for this. You can't use Becky for this. You have to use something else to say you must not. And this is to put the verb into the te form, like here, and then say wa ikemasen. Ikemasen. Nonde wa ikemasen. This again is a kind of standard form of saying it is bad, it is really bad if you do this. It is really bad if this happens, rather. Okay, so if you're saying you should or you shouldn't, you can use Beki or Beki de wa arimasen. But for saying you must not, you absolutely must not, then you can't really use Beki. Any questions, guys? Cool. Alles good? Alles klar? Yeah? Cool. Let's do some exercises. Let's see how many we get through quickly, and then we'll maybe do some extra challenging ones at the end. David, would you like to start with this one?
Geography exam. Geography again, is it Chile?
Chile, yeah, good.
Oh, thank heavens.
Yeah.
Let's see. Before geography exam. No, my. Chile shiken no mae ni. Often. Yoku benkyou shita hou ga ii desu.
Good, perfect. Good. Any questions, guys? Cool. We should be able to get through these in a jiffy. Kim, it would be best if you arrived early for your doctor's appointment. I think you did this one last week, didn't you?
No, because I don't have any idea what a doctor's appointment is.
Oh, I think you do. You were almost certainly here last Thursday morning.
Thursday morning?
Yeah. I'm absolutely sure you did this one. In fact, I explained the different ways of saying appointment.
No idea. No.
Okay. So, doctor is. Really? I'm sure you were here last. What's your sign? Do you remember?
No. No.
Do you remember anything about last week? Were you actually completely so drunk this weekend that you just lost your memory of last week?
Last week?
Yeah.
Which one did I join last week?
Thursday morning, I'm pretty sure you came to. This, i.e. this. Yeah. Oh dear. Do you ever wake up in your bed with like a dead animal and you think
it was a holiday? It was a holiday for me last week.
I see. This means like start drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, right?
9:30.
Okay, Oishisan is doctor, and then appointment. Well, the word yoyaku is kind of means reservation, but it's kind of not really right for an appointment. This is kind of right for a restaurant. We would say instead yakusoku. So this means appointment. It actually means, literally, it means promise.
Oisha-san no yakusoku ni.
Good.
Hayaku.
As a hayaku means quickly, doesn't it? But do you remember how to say early?
Damn it. It's always the same.
Can anybody help?
Hayameni.
Hayameni.
Yes, good. Hayameni. And then arrive.
Tochaku.
Okay, you can say torchaku. This kind of sounds like a landing of an airplane, though. We would just use the. You can just use the verb tsuku, to reach.
Tsuku. Yeah. And then I have to. It would be best. So it would be tsuta.
No, tsuku. How would we change?
Tsuita.
Tsuita.
Tsuita hou ga ii desu.
Yes, good. Well done. Kelly? Hi, dozo.
Tsuku or tsukeru here?
Tsuku. So it's the intransitive.
Is that in
we want to
transit?
use. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kelly, you should not drink alcohol before driving, unless you really want to.
危なそうです。
そうですね。はい。危なそうです。危なそうです。危なそうですよ。危なさそうですよ。はい。
運転する前に。
Good. 運転する前に。
お酒を飲まない方がいいです。
Yes, good. 飲まない方がいいです。Very good. Cool. Martin, you should not eat too much salt in your food.
Okay, what salt, please?
Shio. Shio.
Shio. Give me a second.
That's okay. No problem.
Sorry, everyone. Do the crossword or something.
I can do vocabulary for you if you're lost on vocabulary.
Oh, there's a sugi.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah. So, for example, if you wanted to say to read too much, we would go from yomu, turn this into mass form, yomi, and then we add sugiru on the end, which means to go to excess.
Yeah. So it'd be tabe sugiru.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shio or
yep.
Tabe sugira.
This is a group 2 verb, sugiru. So to make negative of this, you would just simply
Suganai?
Suginai. So the ru disappears as a group 2. Ru disappears.
Sugina.
Suginai.
Sugina Becky Dewa Aramisin.
You're going to go that way. Right. Okay. So this stays then in the plain form, tabe sugiru. And then you say Becky Dewa Arimase. To do it this way. Yeah. So this, if you're doing, you should not eat too much salt, then this remains in the affirmative. It's this part which negates the sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good. Tom, you ought to go to the dentist every year.
Did you say Tom?
Yeah, Tom. Sorry.
Meinen.
So this isn't pronounced as nen though, is it? Do you remember? So kyo nen. Yeah, maitoshi.
Maitoshi.
Yeah.
Haisha.
Good.
Ni.
Yep.
When you say you ought to go, it's that you should go.
Yeah, you decide. You can use either one, really.
Itta hoga ii desu.
Good. Yes. The whole desu. Yeah. So usually for dentists as well, we affix san at the end to make it slightly honorific. Good. Monya, you should do saibiki. You always get the easy ones. You should do saibiki adequately when doing the pitsuke.
And how is I cannot
adequately. This is jubunni.
Okay. Nukitsuke suru toki.
Good. Nukitsuke suru toki. Yeah.
Jubun ni sayabiki suru beki desu.
Good. Yes. Suru beki desu. Excellent. Well done. Tobe, I would prefer not to go to Makiko's party. She is too noisy.
Makiko no tanjoubi no party ni.
Sorry, 1 second. Makiko no tanjoubi party ni.
Ikanaimashi desu.
Good. Not ikanaimashi desu, but ikanai.
Wasn't there?
So
sorry.
That's right. How would you say it would be best to go to Makiko's party?
Itta hoga ii desu.
Yeah. So now do the reverse.
Ikanakutte.
No. Just ikanai and then hoga.
Hoga. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Hoga mashi desu.
She is good.
I
She's too noisy.
wasn't sure what you were looking at.
Okay, which one to do?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, 彼女は urusa sugimasu.
Oh, good. Urasa sugimasu. Very good. Well done.
Is that okay, urusa sugimasu, or is that more like urusa sugi desu?
Irasa for sugiru, actually, you can use either. For example, if you can say tabe sugimashita, say I've eaten too much food, or you can say tabe sugi des, which means I'm now in the state of having eaten too much food. Yeah. These both.
Is there like a slight difference in meaning, or?
Tabe sugi des, tabe sugimashita. So this is definitely kind of reflects the past. So you could, if you could say kino tabe sugimashita. So you'd have to say kino tabe sugimashita to say yesterday. You could say kyo tabe sugimashita, and you could be saying I'm now in that state of having eaten too much. So yesterday or now. When I say yesterday, I mean in the past, of course. But tabe sugi des really means now only. I'm now in that state of having eaten too much. Yeah. Joel, I prefer cheddar to Stilton.
Cheddar hoga.
Cheddar. So it's a noun, so it should be cheddar.
No hoga.
Yeah, good. No hoga.
Stilton hodo.
Not sure where you're going with this, Joel.
Meshi desu, no?
Not hodo, but.
I forgot. Cheddar no hoga, Stilton.
What's the more than bit?
Can't remember. Sorry.
Who can help?
Yori.
Yori.
Yeah.
Meshi desu.
Meshi desu, good.
Meshi desu.
Yeah, very good. Cool.
Thank you.
And then Joseph, if we are going abroad, I would prefer to go to Mexico. It's a trap. It's a trap.
It's always a trap.
Sure, go ahead.
外国に行ったら
And he fell for it.
Oh no.
So this means, yeah. Well, okay. Let's try ikeba.
Anybody is best, right?
Yeah, exactly. This means if we have gone abroad, if we're already there. So ikeba. Has anybody got any objections to using ikeba?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joel, Toba?
He fell to the second trap.
It's a trap in a trap.
What was the other one? I'm blanking on the third one.
Okay, who can help?
Nagara.
Ikunara, yeah. Ikunara.
Nara, of course.
外国に行くなら、メキシコに
Now you can say the past. You can say, if we are going to go abroad, I would prefer if, yeah.
行った方がもしです。
マシですね。
マシです。
Good, good, good. Is everybody clear why we didn't use ikeba or ittara?
Can you tell me the ikeba, because I always forget the three things that we
sure.
need to check.
Yeah. So rather than me doing it, somebody else can do it so they can refresh their memories. Who'd like to have a go at the three rules of the three regulations of ba? Joel, go ahead.
Yeah.
So Joel do one, then Martin, and then Kelly.
Subject.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The subject of the sentences must be the same. That's the first one.
Yeah. Subjects are the same.
It's an action verb.
So yeah, that's the condition is an action verb, right?
Yep.
And Kelly, the last one.
I only know the first two.
Preference.
Yes.
Preference.
Yes. So the outcome is a preference. Good. Go ahead, Tom.
Or a prohibition.
Yes. Good. Prohibition. Yeah. So if all of these are yes, then you cannot use ba. If all three are yes, then you cannot use ba. And then let's see, is this so? Are the subjects the same? Yep.
Yeah.
It's if we're going abroad, I or we, meaning yeah, that's me as well. Yeah. The condition action of going, and the outcome is a preference, so that's also yes. So we can't use ba conditional. Yeah. Cool.
We didn't use the Tara form because we haven't gone abroad yet. Is that right?
Right. Yes. This if you use tada, it would mean if we have gone abroad.
Okay.
I would prefer to go to Mexico. It's too late if you've already arrived in Lebanon to then say, oh, I'd rather be in Mexico. I shouldn't say that about Lebanon. Lebanon's not a bad place anymore, really. Okay. Okay. I would prefer to not wear socks at the same time as sandals.
Sandal?
Sandal? Yeah.
同時に
Yep.
靴下を
Yep.
履かない足です。
Yeah. Hakanai. Sorry. Hakanai. Hakanai. So. Hang on a second. Hakanai. So we need a little bit before Mashides, don't we? Hakanai. Something Mashides.
What?
Sorry, I can hear you scratching your head. It's like
Sorry.
right.
Something like Hoga?
Exactly like Holger. Yeah, precisely Holger.
マシです。
Yes, good. Well done. サンダルと同時に靴下を履かない方がマシです。Excellent. David, may I go and watch the examination? You there, David? If you're talking, David, you're muted at the moment. Okay, back to Kim. Kim, may I go and watch the examination?
She can.
She can.
She can.
Yeah.
She can. Then it's the combination.
The kind of combination, not actually fixed together though. Do you remember how to do
like
it? So how do we say let's go and eat some sushi?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that one.
Yeah. So it's gonna start with sushi.
I think sushi o.
Yeah.
Tabe.
Yep.
And then Tabe ni ikimasu.
Ikimashou there.
Ikimashou.
Yeah.
And
Good.
then
So transfer that same rule into
ni.
Good.
Ni. May I go? That's also permission. So, ite mo ii desu ka?
Yes, good. Ite mo ii desu ka? Excellent. Well done. Shall we take a little break for a second and just try to unconfuse ourselves about this use of ni and iku in combinations with other verbs, because I think this might be causing a little bit of confusion. So to go and do something, let's take an example. The easy one to do is to let's go and eat some sushi, as we just did. Eat. Hang on, I have to delete some words. Tedious.
Is this the good example with the drinking and the coming to the party?
Drinking and going to the party?
Yeah. Are you coming drunk to the party, or are you coming to drink to the party?
Ah, let's do this. Actually, we'll use that as a check afterwards,
Okay,
Joseph, just
yeah.
to kind of compare the two. So let's go and eat something. Let's say let's go and eat sushi, just to keep it easy. So we do this as sushi or tabe. Leave this in the mass form. For group two verbs, this is just the verb without mass or without ru. And then we say ni iku. In this case, it's going to be ikimashou. Sushi or tabe ni ikimashou. But remember this thing about trying to do something, to test something, to try something. I will taste this sushi, for example. Kono sushi. Oh, this time we put the eating, tabete, the thing you're going to try and do, the testing thing, but it's into the te form. Tabete mimasu. Tabete mimasu. I will try this vodka. Kono vodka, there's no V's in Japanese. Vodka. Oh, then of course nonde mimasu. Put nomu into the te form, and then put mimasu. I will try to fix this car. Tom, do you have a try?
Kono kuruma.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Naoshite.
Good.
Mimasu.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Naoshite mimasu.
Is that mimasu as in to look?
Yes, but it really, I mean, basically it is, but it's always going to be, in this case, for this try to do something, it will always be written in hiragana to distinguish it from this idea of actually physically looking to the idea of giving it a try, having a go. Okay, let's do Joseph's example. So,
sorry, Andy?
Yeah, go ahead.
We also do the third one because we also had the volitional plane and then plus suru.
Yeah, so
I think for the first time trying something.
Yeah, so this is we're going to do, I think in 2 weeks' time we've got this lesson, so I'm going to leave that alone for the moment, and we'll certainly come to it in a couple of weeks. Otherwise we'll end up just doing a lot of this. I just want to make sure we understand these key ones here. Now let's just chuck in a te form into another word. So let's do shokuji o shite ikimasu. Now, be careful. This means something different. This means I will eat shokuji o suru and then go. And then go. So our key sentences are this one, And this one, 2. These are all variations of the same thing. I'm going to delete these now to keep it easy. And then this is a kind of example of just using the te form to join one verb to another verb in the sentence, just to say, first I will do this, and then I will do this, and then I will do this. So, for example, let me just deepen this one a little bit. Shokuji o shite, eiga kan ni itte, eiga o mimasu. So I will eat, I will go to the cinema, I will watch a movie. I will eat and then go to the cinema, and then I will watch a movie. Okay. These are our 3 model sentences, all different, all meaning something different. Everybody okay so far? I'll give you a second to write it down in case you need it. While you're writing notes, let me just write this other one. Osake o nomi ni kimasu ka? It's this way, isn't it, Joseph? Joseph? This is the first version, isn't it? And then osake, yeah. The osake o nonde kimasu ka? Ikimasu ka? And these 2, right?
Yeah. It's a good introduction to invite people to parties.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, okay. So let's look at these 2. Sorry, guys, let me wait for you to finish writing notes. Is everybody okay? I need walk like an Egyptian or the majestic moose to say that we're done. Good. Martin, as you're in Canada, you are forced to do the majestic moose to say I've finished writing. You have to do this. Good, that's it. Yeah. Aga, did you walk like an Egyptian or majestic moose? You did. Okay, cool. Tobbe, you're Swedish, so maybe you should do the majestic elk. Oh, that's big. Okay, so
we have a herd of elk living in our garden.
Ah, do they have antlers?
The males do, yeah.
Oh, okay. So this isn't acceptable, or this isn't
Out the side of a horse, yeah.
Yeah. Do you get dry humps if you do that in the garden?
Huge.
Well, have you looked at yourself recently, darling? Right, so this is the example that Joseph was talking about. Osake o nomi ni ikimasu ka? And osake o nonde kimasu ka? So these mean 2 very different things. Kim, can you translate the first one?
Come and will you come and have a drink?
Yeah, exactly.
Have some alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. Alcohol. And Kelly, the second one means?
Will you come drunk?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it literally means will you have a drink and then come? Yeah. So these 2 mean slightly different things, of course. All good? That was a long exhalation, Monya. You okay? We haven't really gone into these in the actual formal study group that much. We've been kind of playing around with these on Sunday sessions, haven't we? But yeah, consider that to be an extra lesson. Okay. Who was the last person to go? Kim. David, are you back again?
Yep, still here.
Oh, okay. Right, we shall try this one. Would it be okay if I took a holiday next week?
Yasumi or kyujitsu?
Either's fine.
Okay. Raishu. Okay, if kyujitsu o totemo ii desu ka?
Yeah, good. Totemo ii desu ka? Excellent, good. And Kelly, can I eat this last piece of sushi?
この最後の一つの寿司を
So I think in this case, actually, Kelly, you could just say Saigon or sushi, because these are actually countable objects rather than just a mass of
okay.
fish and rice. Yeah.
So I don't have to use hitotsu for saying their
No, not really. No, just Saigon or sushi.
So この最後の寿司を食べてもいいですか?
Good. 食べてもいいですか? Good. And Martin, hello, this is Martin. Can I speak to Mariko, please?
Okay, we're going to drown in moshis here. So moshi moshi.
Moshi moshi moshi.
Farnkum des.
Farun kam.
Yes, indeed. Mariko-san ni
Mariko-san ni.
hanashitara kudasai?
No. You're asking permission. Can I speak to?
Hanashi hoga ii desu ka?
That means I should talk to Mariko.
Oh.
Which is a kind of very direct way of saying, can I speak to her? I think I should talk to Mariko.
Indeed. I can't use the Tara form.
No, just use this one above, actually. This is fine. This is good.
Hanashite mo ii desu ka?
Yeah, exactly. Hanashite mo ii desu ka? This is, I mean, in this kind of circumstance, when you're on the phone, you say, Mariko-san to hanashite mo ii desu ka? This is the same as saying, can you let me speak to Mariko? This is absolutely fine. Yeah. There are other ways of doing this, but actually on a telephone, saying, Mariko-san to hanashite mo ii desu ka? Or Mariko-san ga imasu ka? Ishi in. This is fine. Yeah. Tom, is it okay if I don't watch this movie?
Kono eiga o
Sorry. Kono eiga o
minakute mo ii desu ka?
Yeah, good. Minakute mo ii desu ka? And Monya, is it okay if I don't drink this wine?
Kono wine o nomanakute mo ii desu ka?
Very good. Nomanakute mo ii desu ka? Excellent. And Tobe, is it okay if I don't give the sword back until tomorrow?
Ashita made.
Good.
Kono katana o kaerete mo ii desu ka?
So kaido is for you to go back, but what's to give an object back?
Kaisu?
Kaisu, yeah.
Kaishite mo ii desu ka?
Kaisu. So this means, is it okay if I give this sword back until tomorrow? But this is actually saying if I don't give this sword back until tomorrow.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Kaisanakute mo ii desu ka?
Kaisanakute mo ii desu ka? Excellent. Good. Any questions so far? Martin, go ahead.
Yep. Oh, I'm just going to wave it.
Well, have you gone, Martin? Maybe he's gone to get a katana to give back to me later.
I just wondered if Kim has ever seen Black Adder.
I've watched season 2, 3, 4, not season 1.
Well, Baldrick always says, I have a cunning plan.
Cunning plan, yes, yeah. This was the
series.
Yeah. So this would be was it? I forgot what is it in the
Slew.
Slew. Slew. I have a slew plan.
You never watched Black Adder. How do you not?
Some people don't know Huey Lewis. Some people don't watch Blackadder. I know, it's amazing. Okay. Any questions, guys?
Oh
Andy,
no,
you're a
we
robot.
lost Andy.
Okay.
Andy, you went to Android.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah. Am I back now?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know why that happens really. It's like nothing changing in my house. It just goes, your internet's unstable. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any problems? Cool. Right, we've got a few more examples to do actually. Slightly different ones. When I say different, I mean harder. Who's feeling suitably challengeable?
Back to Droid.
Oh, sorry.
Up a bit.
Just going to turn my phone internet off to see if that helps. I've got nothing else on really. How's it now? Any better?
Ish. It can help if you switch your Wi-Fi on your computer off and then on again to make it reconnect.
Yeah. Is it still bad now?
No, it's okay.
It's okay. If it goes again, I will reset it. But it takes like, I think it's actually my router rather than my computer. I think it's the problem. Which will mean like 5 minutes lost if I go and reset that. Okay, right, so we've got some extra challenge for those of you who are feeling suitably brave. Let's have a quick go. So we'll start with Kim.
Kim is slew.
He is, isn't he? Yeah. So what I'd like you to do is translate the following. First, using the causative and asking to be allowed to do something using the causative. Then using any of the permission asking ones we've just been doing. And then asking to be omitted, so doing a negative permission. So actually, guys, what I'd like you to do is to, let's spend 5 or 10 minutes having a go at these. So you can all grab a pen and paper and have a go on each one. So Kim, you start on number 1. Kelly starts on number 2. Tom on number 3. Monia on number 4. Tobit on number 5. Joseph on number 6. Martin on number 7. Agatha on number 8. And David also on number 8. And then once you've done your first one, then just keep working through, and then I'll stop you in 5 minutes.
How about me? You forgot me.
Oh, sorry, Joe. Do you want to do number 6, please?
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, Joseph, Joel, it's the same as far as I'm concerned. Actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to go and reset my internet, so I'll disappear and be back. Can I do that, I wonder? I probably can't do it without losing. No, I'll stay. Sorry.
Andy, oh, he's gone.
What was up?
The verb for to decide is sadameru.
Decide is kimeru, I think.
Sorry?
Yeah. Kimeru, decide.
Yeah, kimeru.
Is it the purpose that we use the Becky and the mu haides and those things? Or is it just translate that short sentence?
No, you have to make your number in the one using the causative, one using the moides, and one using the moides.
Ah, like that.
So you need 3 sentences in total, if it's correct.
Yeah, that I understood, but I just chose using, okay.
Guys, if you get to the end, can you put your little blue hand up on your screens?
At the end of all of them?
Of all of them, yeah, please. You don't have to have completed all of them, Monya. It's okay. Guys, can you put the number of fingers up on your hand to say how many you have completed, please? Oh, only one. So once you've done your one, you can move on to the next one. Yeah. Tom, I was very impressed. I thought, wow, he's done all 8. Sorry, guys, can you put your fingers up again? 2, 3, 1. Okay, 3. Okay, cool.
Do the same before.
Okay, just last minute, guys. Okay, let's have a go. So it doesn't matter if you get these wrong, by the way. This is kind of supposed to be a little bit challenging. So let's see. Kim, how did you did number 1, didn't you?
Yes,
Okay,
I tried.
How did you do?
But I was struggling with the verb for to rest. I found it yasumu,
Yasumu,
or
yeah.
nemuru.
Nemuru means to sleep.
Yeah. Okay, so yasumu.
Yes.
Gofun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found kan.
Kan. You can use it, but normally just gofun or is fine, because there isn't. It's not like on the clock. You can say it's 3 o'clock, or you can say for 3 hours. So 3 o'clock is sanji, 3 hours is sanji kan. But you can't tell the time by saying it's 20 minutes in the day. Doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So normally people just say gofun.
And just keep the O also, no?
So sorry.
You can just have just gofun too, right?
Yes.
No,
yeah. Yes. Yeah. You can.
So gofun o yasumaseru.
Yasumaseru. Good. Yasumaseru. Good. Yes. And then to actually say, please let me rest, how would you change the sentence to make it into a request?
Gofun yasunde mo ii desu ka?
This is asking permission. How do you say, please let me, using the causative?
Please let me. Yasume.
No, you've actually, this sentence is more or less correct, but it's being left in this currently says, you will let me rest for 5 minutes. Sorry, yeah, you will let me rest for 5 minutes. So how do you convert those 3 words into please let me rest for 5 minutes? Please let me rest for 5 minutes.
So the last verb I would place it the te form and kudasai.
Good, yeah, exactly. So can you do that?
Gofun o yasumasete.
Yep.
Kudasai.
Perfect. Exactly this. Yes. Yasumasete kudasai. Good. And then to ask permission.
5分を休んでもいいですか?
Good. Yes. Yasunde mo ii desu ka? And then negative permission asking.
5分を
Yeah.
休まなくてもいいですか?
Good. Yasuma nakute ii desu ka?
はい。
Good. 休まなくてもいいですかね? Excellent. And good. Excellent. Did anybody get anything different to this? Good, because it will be wrong if there's anything different. Okay, Kelly, how about yourself? Learn a song.
I used would learn manabu.
Good.
Okay, so uta o manabaseru. Manabasete kudasai.
Very good. Yes. Excellent. Well done. And number 2.
Uta o manande mo ii desu ka?
Good. Manande mo ii desu ka? Good. And number 3.
Uta o manabanakute mo ii desu ka?
Very good. Manabanakute mo ii desu ka? Perfect. Cool. Good. Did anybody get anything different? You can, of course, use narao instead of manabu. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. So narao would be Martin. What was how did you change narao in this first one in the causative?
Naramaseru.
Can you say again? No,
naramasete kudasai.
So this from narao. Yeah. The way we do this is to make it first into the plain past. Plain negative. So this would become narawa.
Narawanai.
Yeah.
Getting the bloody wa.
Yeah. And then this goes seru. Yeah. Cool. Good. Okay. Well done, Kelly. Tom.
I used the verb oboeru. Is this a wrong verb for the case?
Yeah, so this is fine actually. Oboru means to memorize.
Yeah.
This is fine. Memorize a song, learn a song. It's the same thing, really, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How did you create this first one though, Toby? The causative of oboeru.
Oboesasete.
Yes, good. Yeah, it's a group 2, isn't it? So it's oboesasete. Well done. Good. Tom, borrow a book.
A little bit different. Hon o karisasete moraimasu ka?
Can you say again?
Hon o karisasete.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Writing.
That's it. That's perfect. Yeah. Karisasete.
But I use moraimasu ka.
This is good. This is good.
It's also good.
Yeah. Yes. This is doing this in the te form also makes it a request.
So, yeah. Hon o karite mo ii desu ka?
Hon o karite mo ii desu ka? Good. And number 3.
Then hon o karinakute mo ii desu ka?
Good. Karinakute mo ii desu ka? Excellent. Good. Anybody get anything different from this? Oh, so that should be not kani, kari. Cool.
Once again, another verb. I used kasu, but this would be lend.
Lend, yeah.
So, so it's totally different.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to do this, because you're asking the other person to do something, is to say hon o kashite kudasai or hon o kashite moraimasu ka.
Moraimasu.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you can only make a request. You can only make. You can't use the causative in this sense.
I see.
What somebody else is doing. Yeah.
I see.
Okay. Cool. Monya, sit down in the chair.
Isu ni suwanasete kudasai.
So you just broke off on the verb. Can you say again?
Suwanasete kudasai.
Suwanasete.
Nasete.
Suwaru. Suwarimasu. So this becomes suwara.
Suwaranai. Okay. Suwaranasete.
Yeah.
Kudasai.
Yes, good. Kudasai. And then next one.
椅子に座ってもいいですか？もういいです。
Yeah. 座ってもいいですか? And then
椅子に座らなくてもいいです。
perfect. 座らなくてもいいですか? Good. Excellent. Well done. Tobe, drive a car.
車を運転させてください。
させてください. Yes, good. Coming from suru, right? And then 2.
車運転してもいいですか?
運転していいですか? Good. And then the negative.
車を運転しなくてもいいですか?
Good. 車を運転しなくてもいいですか? Cool. Good. Well done. Next one is Joseph, right?
Yep.
And did anybody else have number 6 to do as well?
Joel.
And Joel. Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
帽子をかけさせてください。
Okay. Run out of space again. Jesus. Sorry. It might be hyphen. Oh no, it's okay. It's still working.
I used kaburu as a verb.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to ask if you use kaburu. So let's do kakeru first, then we'll come back to kaburu.
帽子をかけてもいいですか?
帽子をかけてもいいですか? Good.
かけなくてもいいですか?
Good, yeah. 帽子をかけなくて, right? でもいいですか? Great. And then Joel, if you wanted to just use kaburu and give me the inflected verb.
Kaburasete.
Can you say again, sorry?
Kaburasete.
Kaburasete, yes. And then number 2 would be
Kabutte.
Kabutte, good. Yes, good. And then
kabura nakute mo ii desu ka?
Excellent. Kabura nakute. Excellent. Well done. Cool. Jesus, Zoom is really getting crap. Let's see if it helps. Martin, what was yours number 7?
It was.
Yeah.
For restaurant.
Yeah.
We've got a choice of shokudo or restaurant.
So restaurant is pretty better. Shokudo is a bit more like a canteen rather than a restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
And the verb Jisho came up with sadameru.
Sadaneru?
Sadameru.
To decide?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sadamete. Yeah. I've heard this before. I think it's slightly archaic. So, but we can use that. Let's use it.
Okay. All right. Restaurant or sada me sasete kudasai.
Sorry, can you say the verb again? I just wasn't able to pick up.
Sada me sasete.
Sada me sasete.
Kudasai.
Sada me sasete. Kudasai. Okay.
Okay.
Number 2.
And then restaurant or sadamete ii desu ka?
Hang on, something wrong there. Sadamete kudasai. Did you say? Sadamete mo ii desu ka?
Sadamete.
Yeah. Sadamete ii desu ka? Good.
And then sadame nakute.
Sadame nakute mo ii desu ka? Yeah, good. Okay, good. Now, I'm just going to quickly look at this verb a second. Like I said, I've heard of it, but I didn't really use it before. Hang on a second.
Seems to pick a target.
Right.
There's
okay. Oh, but it's exactly the same kanji as the modern of this, which is kimeru. Kimeru.
Kimeru.
Yeah. Just right there.
Okay. That one doesn't come up. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
It's
it's
about
sorry, it's different kanji, isn't it? Sorry, it's different kanji, isn't it? Sorry. Kimeru. Kimeru.
Now that would have been a better one. Far less syllables.
Sorry, I'm quickly. Teicho. Ah, right. This is the te of seite, isn't it? Yeah. To fix on something. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, this would be absolutely fine to use it in this context. Yeah, but kimeru is the one which most people use. Kimeru.
Right.
Cool. And then I got you at number 8. Sorry, Martin.
By the way, the sample sentence in Jisho is, in the same way as Hegel, Panofsky's notion of the dialectic makes history follow a predetermined course.
I thought that's what it would be referring to. That's the first kind of idiom that came up when you said this.
Of course.
Okay, David, did you have number 7 as well?
I think I had number 8.
Number 8. Okay, so okay, do you want to have a go first, and then we'll see if David come up with the same thing.
Ongaku
o
kitasetu
Yep.
kudasai.
Good. Yes. And then David, what's next? This one next, actually, number 2.
I get ongaku o kite mo ii desu ka?
Good. O kite mo ii desu ka? And I got number 3.
Ongaku o kikanakute mo ii desu ka?
Perfect. Okay, well done, guys. That was really good. Any questions? I've kind of tripped myself up because I've only left us 40 minutes to do what was almost certainly the most time-consuming lesson in Andy's Japanese Corner, which was Toki, which we're going to do now. Right. Actually, maybe I can make this easier.
So you're saying there's no time?
Yeah. I can make this easier. Do you remember, like an hour ago, Monya had this problem, which was hamono o motteiru toki hashiru beki de wa arimasen. Remember this? Yeah. So Monya has already used this toki to mean when. And look at the tense of the verb. It's in the present continuous tense. While you are holding a blade, you should not run. Okay, so this is a really easy example to memorize. Right, I'm going to zip through the main introduction to Toki, and if you get confused or you're kind of losing it or you don't have enough time to write notes, then please stop me. Okay, everybody understand? The responsibility for stopping me is on you. Okay, and I don't mind. By all means, just stop me if it's not very clear. Now, I'm basically confused with everything we've done. Can you explain it from the beginning, please? Okay, so this is the timing of actions part 3, Toki. Now I'll really quickly go through this refresher of timings of actions. So part 1 was nagara, which is multitasking. So the subject has to be the same, doing X while doing Y. Terebi o minagara, shokuji o tabemasu. I watch while watching television, I eat my dinner. And these suggest that these are durationed verbs. They take some time. They're not transitional, like entering a building. That's not a duration verb. That's like immediate. There's a moment when you are now inside the building, or sitting down. This is also an instantaneous verb, so you can't use nagara. Doji ni was doing the 2 dependent or independent things happening at the same time. These are usually instantaneous, so you shouldn't really use a long. Oh, actually, you can use duration with doji ni, but if you want to use instantaneous verbs like exploding or I don't know, winning a match, then this is using doji ni. Part 3, toki. This literally means time, and it's the same kanji as hour and o'clock. So hour is ji and o'clock is also ji. and it uses this kanji, which is quite easy to remember. It's got the sun on the left, which is how we used to tell the time, by looking at sundials, and it's got temple on the right. So you can maybe visualize the idea that every little village has a temple in it, and when the sun is positioned at a certain position over the temple, you can tell what time it is. Okay, it's probably not where the kanji actually originates from, but this is a good way to memorize it. So to construct this, we have the time reference to go first. So in all of this timing of actions, it's always basically two events. You're talking about the first reference event and then the kind of outcome event. So for example, when I went to France, I ate moule. Okay, so I went to France is one reference. So it's when I went to France, and I ate moule is another action. So there's two actions: going to France, eating moule. Everybody okay with this? So the reference action goes first, and then we have toki, and then we have the conclusion or the outcome of the sentence. These time references can be verbs, adjectives, or nouns. We're going to do the adjectives and nouns first because they're really easy. Adjectives and nouns don't need to be inflected for time. So for example, to say when it was hot, I went. When it was hot, I drank some water. You would say atsui toki. So you leave the adjective in the present tense. Atsui toki, mizu o nomimashita. When I was small, you'd say when I was younger, I went to elementary school. So chisai toki. So chisai is being left in the present tense. Chisai toki. Shogakko ni ikimashita. I went to elementary school. Okay, easy peasy. Verbs should be in their plain form if they're in this part here. U, nai, ta, onakata. And we'll talk about it should be used in reference to the outcome in a second, because that's the difficult part. So when we use these toki for adjectives and nouns, let's think of toki as being a kind of noun when it's used as an adjective. So atsui toki means when it was hot. Himana toki, this means when you have free time, when you are free. Himana toki, when there is free time. And chisai toki, we just put the adjective in front of toki. When we use noun references, just as we do with in other cases, we put no after the noun. So for example, byoki no toki, this means byoki no toki?
Byoki. Sorry. I can't remember byoki.
Can anybody help?
Sick?
Yeah, when I was sick.
Unwell.
Yeah, yeah, when I was unwell, when I was sick. Yeah. Gakusei no toki, Tobe?
When I was a student.
Yeah, when I was a student. So we can't turn nouns into the future, the present, or the past. That again, they just stay as they are, just as they are. Okay, let's go back to verbs. I'm going to do this a little bit quickly. If you are confused, then put your hand up and say, I'm confused. Okay, deal? Okay, right, we'll use an example. Mommy Sensei goes from the UK, he flies to Japan on an airplane from Heathrow. So there are, in this journey, starting here at Heathrow and landing at Narita, there is a duration. There's a before the journey, there's during the journey, and then there's after the journey. So he might say something like, when I go to Japan, I fly from Heathrow. When I go to Japan, I fly from Heathrow. And when I'm flying to Japan, when I'm in the process, I watch movies. And then this last thing he might say, when I arrived in Japan, I went to Tokyo. Each of these has got two independent tenses in it. The tense, when I say tense, I mean the time type, the present, the past, the present, or the future. So when I go to Japan, this is in the future tense. I fly, this is also in the future tense. When I am flying to Japan, I watch movies. This is when I'm flying, this is the present continuous tense. I watch movies, this is in the future tense. When I say future tense in Japanese, this means both the future and also things which are done on a regular basis. And when I arrived in Japan, I went to Tokyo. This is saying when, this is in the past tense, when I arrived, I went, this is also in the past tense. These two tenses are independent of each other for each case. For each of these examples, the tense of the first verb is completely independent from the tense of the second verb. It depends on what you want to say. So for example, with this one, you would say Nihon ni iku toki. So when I go to Japan, you can see this is in the future. It's called as the future tense. Hisro kara tobimasu. Tobimasu also being to mean on the regular basis when I fly from Heathrow. When I go to Japan, I fly from Heathrow. Nihon ni tondeiru toki. This is now in the present continuous tense. Eiga o mimasu. So this is on a regular basis. Eiga o mimasu. This is a habit. And now, different occurrence. Nihon ni tsuita toki. When I reached Japan, this is in the past tense. I went to Tokyo. Tokyo ni ikimashita. This is also in the past tense. So this whole event, this one here, happened in the past. And it's this tense of this final verb which tells you exactly when the event took place. What we have to try and get our heads around is that when we are referencing an event, there is before the event, the reference event is completed, during completion, and after completion. Are we all okay so far? There's a lot more to explain on this, but are you all with me so far? Okay. So these tenses aren't fixed. You have to think about exactly what is happening in reference to what. So let's be clear. Think about when exactly this event took place. Did it happen in the past? Is it happening now? Or will it happen in the future? When we say happen in the future, it could also mean will it happen on a regular basis? Try not to think too specifically in your own language because it will be misleading. Certainly, if we say these examples in English, if you try to translate them directly into Japanese, you'll get it wrong. So, for example, in English, we would say, when I meet my friend, I always shake his hand. But in Japanese, you can't say this. This means in Japanese, before I meet my friend, I always shake his hand. If you translate this as tomodachi to aou toki, itsumo te o hakushu shimasu. This would not be correct. This would mean before I meet my friend. You have to say when I met my friend, when I'm either in the process of meeting him or when we have already hit each other in the street, when that encounter has already taken place. So the first reference verb, try not to think about past, present, and future. Try to think of the first reference verb as being not yet complete, means future tense, in the process of being completed, present continuous tense, or has been completed, this is past tense. As nobody's got their hand up, I shall continue, okay? Right. So in this particular example, this means that you actually have to meet up with him before you shake his hand. Now, the reason why this has got three asterisks against it is because, well, when does the meeting take place? When would we say the meeting has started? Is it when you see your friend away from 100 meters? Or is it when you are within talking distance of each other? Or is it when you've actually smashed into each other and are hugging each other and kissing each other on the cheek? When has the meeting started? Well, I don't know. It depends on your kind of perspective. So you might actually hear people say, "Tomodachi ni aou toki, itsumo te o hakushu shimasu," because maybe their understanding of meet actually means to slam into each other and hug and kiss, and then the meeting has started. So let's look at a different example just to kind of help to get this at hand. 3 stages of an airplane landing. Just before, during the process, i.e. when the wheels touch the ground, and after completion, when the plane is now on the ground. So this first one, before landing, chakuriku just means landing. Chakuriku suru toki, this means before it is completed. Chakuriku shite iru toki, in the process of completion. And chakuriku shita toki, when we have landed, after the wheels have hit the ground. Okay, this is pretty clear, easy to understand, right? Yeah. And this is exactly how Ryanair lands their planes, by the way. They point the nose at the ground and pray. So remember, all of these before landing, before landing is completed, and during landing completion, and after landing completion, all three of these can occur in the past or the future, can't they? Good. So let's now add the second verb to this sentence. Chakuriku suru toki, seatbelt o shimemasu. This means when the plane is landing or when the plane is about to land, we put our seatbelts on. We always put our seatbelts on. So this is talking about the future or a regular basis. Keeping the same reference verb, if you said seatbelt o shimemashita, this shimemashita, this past tense of this verb, now puts this whole event into the past. It now says, when we were about to land, we all put our seatbelts on. It's before the landing, but it's in the past. Still with me, guys? Nobody committing seppuku? Good, I can see some dancing. Good, good, good. I'd rather see more dancing, a bit more majestic moves, to be honest. Okay. All right, I'll do. Okay, that's fine. Oh, so good, excellent. So providing you understand, Kim, that's all fine. Now, the wheel.
During this time, Kim has already drawn the plans.
It's
this
not
is where you say, throw it away.
It's not an art class. Yeah, forget all this slide, by the way, guys. This is all wrong. Okay, so when the plane actually hits the ground, it makes a loud noise. Beep. So, chakuriku shite iru toki, ookina oto ga demasu. So look, this is in the future tense, demasu, which means when the plane lands, when the landing process is in process, it makes a loud noise, talking about the future or a regular occurrence. But if I change this to ookina oto ga demashita, again, this puts the entire event in the past. When the plane landed, there was a loud noise. Okay. Now, last example, chakuriku shita toki, when the plane has landed, when it's kind of firmly on the ground. Seatbelt o hazushimasu. When the plane has landed, we take our seatbelts off. This is talking about the future or a regular occurrence. But after the reference event, after the plane has landed, we remove our seatbelts. Or after the plane has landed, we will remove our seatbelts. These are both in the future. However, if I change this to chakuriku shita toki, seatbelt o hazushimashita, this now says when we landed, we removed our seatbelts. When the landing had been completed, we removed our seatbelts. This is putting the whole event in the past. Okay, does everybody understand? Cool. I guess the most important thing to remember is that if you think about the reference event, you need to ask yourself the question, is it before the reference event, during the reference event, or after the reference event? We'll come back to this later. I won't get you to read this. This is just basically a very good textbook on grammar, and it explains why it's important to get it right. And if we just look at the bold examples, eki ni tsuita toki, denwa o shimasu kara, sochira kara mukai ni kite kurimasen ka, which means once we have arrived at the station, I will call you, so could you come and meet us? But this has to be tsuita. It means when we have arrived at the station, not when we arrive at the station. It's when we have arrived at the station, I'll call you. Even though this whole thing is in the future, you have to say, well, once I've arrived at the station, then I will call you, not before completion. And then these last two examples here explain how getting this tense here wrong changes the meaning of the sentence. Nihon ni kuru toki, kukou de kaimashita. So think about Momi sensei. He flies from Heathrow to Narita. If he says Nihon ni kuru toki, kukou de Shimbun o kaimashita, which airport did he buy the newspaper from? You can unmute yourselves and answer, guys. From Heathrow, right. If you said Nihon ni kita toki kuko de kaimashita, shimbun o kaimashita, this would mean he bought the newspaper in Narita, right, after the flight had finished. Exactly. Cool. Okay. This is really just kind of to make it. This is just me repeating the same stuff again. The timing of the in regards to the reference event is this first part before toki, and then everything afterwards tells you whether the event took place in the past, the present, or the future. Believe it or not, the first time around we did this, at this point here, the class still didn't understand what I was talking about. Okay, don't double up time references. This just means you can't use toki with like August, hachigatsu no toki. You don't say this, or raishu no toki, or kino no toki, ashita no toki. If you just say ashita, or hachigatsu ni, or raishu, you don't need to say raishu no toki. It's like saying, when is this next week? I will go to the pharmacy. You wouldn't say this. You'd say, next week I will go to the pharmacy. Right? Okay, last bit, just to kind of consolidate this. Here's an event that happened or happens when I was drinking coffee. Kim.
But you can say yesterday when it was hot, blah 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 blah.
Right, you can say this. You can say, but you'd say kino, comma, atsui toki.
Hi.
Yes, you can say this. You can say this, but don't put no toki next to raishu, ashita, kino, maitoshi, things like this. Yeah.
Hi.
Yes. Okay, so all we're doing here is asking ourselves the question: did this final event, the outcome, happen before, during, or after this reference event? Okay, that's what we're actually challenging ourselves to do in this lesson. So, what time is it? Okay, we're doing well actually. Let's see. Joseph, how would you say before I drank my coffee, or before I started drinking my coffee, a pigeon flew into the room?
コーヒーを飲むとき、
Good.
鳩
Good.
が部屋に飛びた。
Yeah. 飛び込んだ. Or,
飛び込んだ。
Yeah. Okay, good. Martin, how would you say while I was drinking my coffee, a pigeon flew into the room?
コーヒーを飲みているとき。
So nomu in the te form would become
飲んでいるとき。
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nonderu toki.
And then whatever the pigeon flew into the room is.
Okay. Hato ga heia ni tobikomimashita. Good. And Aga, how would you say a pigeon flew into the room after I had drunk my coffee?
House pigeon?
Hato. Hato.
Coffee を飲んだときに
Yep.
鳩を飛びました。
Yeah, heia ni tobikomimashita. I mean, to be honest, I don't think the last bit I don't mind. It's whether you guys get the nomu, nonderu, or nonda. This is the most important part of this lesson. Okay, any questions, guys? Right, last bit I'm just going to do is just to go back to this little bit here. If you say toki ni, you might hear people saying toki ni. This gives emphasis to the reference event. For example, if you only listen to podcasts when you're shopping, then you would say in English, it is when I'm shopping that I listen to podcasts. So here we would use toki ni, kaimono shiteru toki ni, keitai de podcast o kikimasu. Okay? So this is saying basically I only listen to podcasts when I'm shopping. We're making the time reference the exclusive time. But if you just said kaimono shiteru toki without ni keitai de podcast o kikimasu, this just means when I'm shopping I listen to podcasts. Maybe you also listen to podcasts when you're cleaning the bathroom or killing a rhinoceros, but certainly when you're shopping you listen to podcasts as well. So it's actually quite rare to use toki ni to say it's when I'm shopping I listen to podcasts. Cool. Right, let's try some examples before time runs out. Now let's get rid of that. Given how quickly you guys picked all this up, this next bit should be really easy.
That's optimistic.
I am constantly optimistic and eternally disappointed. Okay, David, when I eat, I sit at the table.
Oh dear. Taberu toki.
Good.
Tana or
Teburu.
Teburu.
Unless you're eating at the shelf, I'm not sure.
Yep. It's my favorite shelf.
Huh.
Teburu. Teburu or suwate. Suwarimasu.
Teburu.
Ni. Teburu ni. Hang on a sec.
At the table.
Teburu de.
Yeah, teburu de.
Teburu de.
Suwarimasu. Yes, exactly. I suppose you could. So some of these can be kind of smeared a little bit. Tabetiru toki would probably work as well. When I'm eating, I sit at the table. There isn't really much difference between the two. Good. Okay, Kim. When I'm eating, I like to watch television.
Tabete iru toki.
Good.
Terebi o. And then ski desu, but
yeah, good.
Mite ski desu.
So remember how to do this. This was done using, if I say the word nominalization, the first two letters of nominalization will give you a clue as to what we're doing. Nominalization means noun, which also begins with those magic. No. Nominalization doesn't start with ni, it starts with no.
No. But I was already watching. Watching is key.
Yeah, what's no, that's listen.
It's key.
What's to see? To watch.
Mimasu. Miru.
Yeah, miru.
Miru. No ski desu?
No ga suki desu.
No ga suki desu.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. Tabeteru toki, terebi o miru no ga suki desu. Perfect. Well done. Good. Kelly, when I finish eating, I put my dirty plates in the dishwasher.
Tabeta toki.
Good.
And then I'm stuck.
You can use, instead of dirty plates, you can use used plates, if you like. Used plates.
Is it? No, don't have the vocabulary for this.
Okay. What's to use?
Skull? No, it's
yeah, it's good. Skull. And then, if it's the plates you are using, you can put the infinitive before the noun. So skull sara. But this means the plates I will use. How would you say the plates are used? Go on. Do it. Kelly.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
Go on, you can do it. Just guess. Guess.
If everyone keeps dancing, I'm just gonna leave the chair. No, I'm stuck.
So skull sara means the plates I will use. What would be the plates I used in the past?
Tsukaimashita.
Yeah, so put this into the plain form.
Tsukaimasu.
Put tsukaimashita into the plain form.
Sara. No.
Sorry, I'll help. Tsukatta. Tsukatta. Yeah.
食べたとき、使った皿。
Good.
Dishwasher.
Can you remember the word for dishwasher?
Saraiki? No.
Yeah. Why no? Sara araiki.
Saraiki. Oh, dear Lord. Saraiki.
It's clear. Let's just break this up into the 3 components. Sara, plate. Arai, to wash. Ki, machine. Yeah.
Easier. Ni.
Yep.
Iremasu?
Yeah. There doesn't have to be a question mark at the end there. With confidence, Kelly.
I'm so sorry. I have to work on this.
No, it's good.
On the confidence.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just do what I do. Just fake it.
Thanks for the tip.
My pleasure. That'll be 500 euros, please, for management consulting.
Next month. It'll be for next month. I'm on a holiday, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me too. Okay, Tom, when I go to work, I always lock the door.
Yes. Keishani.
Keishani.
When I go to work. Iku.
Good.
Toki.
Yep.
Itsumo. Now I always, this is a trick one. Ie no door or door no ie?
Ie no door. So think of no as being like an apostrophe S.
House's door.
Yeah.
Normally I say the door's house.
Yes, I know.
But the English to Dutch that it goes wrong. Ie no door o.
Good.
Kagi o.
Good.
Kakemasu.
Very good. Yes, exactly. So this means kaisha ni iku toki basically
Is
means
this-
before you go to work, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
It's
this is
not-
correct.
How do you go to work then?
Well, the process is assume the process going to work means that you've already walked outside the front door. It's not like yeah, so it's like before I actually get into the car and leave the house, I close the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you say the wrong way? Like you close the door when you're still inside.
Kaisha ni iku mae ni, you can't really. Ie o deru mae ni door o shimemasu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I assume most people imagine that the going to work happens when you've stepped outside the house, right? And anytime you're kind of inside the house, you're not yet going to work. It's actually when you are outside of the house, you're now going to work.
Yeah.
Does everybody feel the same way? This is only purely subjective, of course.
The wrong thing would be when you say kaisha ni ita toki.
Right.
Then you're already at your office and you're closing the door.
Exactly. Yeah, it's too late to lock the door once you've already arrived. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Monya. When I went to work, I locked the house door.
Kaisha ni ita toki.
Here's the problem. Don't translate the English into Japanese.
Okay.
Think about the situation, what it means, and then make this into Japanese.
So it's the same. Iku.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it has to be before you have gone to work, right?
Ie no doa o kagi o kakemashita.
Very good, yes. Then this verb tells you when it happened, right? In the past. Good. Okay. Tobe. When I was going to work, I saw an accident at the crossing.
Shigoto ni.
Let's use kaisha, shall we?
Kaisha. Kaisha ni itte toki. Itteru toki.
Yes. Itteru toki.
実行 Sorry. Kosaten de.
Yeah. Kosaten de.
Jiko o
Chiko o.
mimashita.
Yeah, good. Mimashita. Excellent. Good. As let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got needs one more. So I'm going to add one in here, which was when I arrived at work. I had a meeting with my manager. And Joel.
Kaisha ni. So this would be tsuku or tsukeru?
Yeah, I mean, using this rule about is the process completed, you could use iku, really.
Okay. So kaisha ni itta toki.
Yep.
How do you say manager?
Joshi.
Joshi to.
Good.
The meeting is.
Who can help? Anybody?
Kai?
Yeah, good. Kaigi. Kaigi.
Kai.
Kim, you've got to unmute yourself earlier.
会社にいたとき、上司と会議ありました。
ありました。Good. 会議がありました。Good. Excellent. So this means when you've already arrived at work. Yeah. Okay. Joseph, when I went to Japan, I met my friend in Shinagawa.
日本に行ったとき、
Good.
品川で友達を
It's either be to or ni.
Yeah, ni. Right. We meet with somebody.
Yeah.
友達に会いました。
Very good. Excellent. Good. Aga. Last night while I was sleeping, someone stole my car.
Sakuban?
So for night, I would use yube. Yeah.
寝ているとき
Good.
誰か
Good. 誰か
誰かが
Good.
車を
Yep.
盗みました。
Good. Nasumimashita. Excellent. Martin, while I'm meeting my friend, we like to drink coffee.
Okay, tackling the last bit first.
Okay.
My notes say kotoga nomimasu, but that feels very clunky.
So to do this last bit, we haven't actually done this in this class. We've done it in the advanced class, but you would say kohi or nomu. This goes into the thingy, the infinitive, and then we nominalize the verb into a noun by going no. Julie's brought in a range of dildos for you. Did you just say?
Oh, good Lord.
Pool noodles.
Oh, noodles. I thought they were dildos.
Insulating water pipes from bear teeth.
Yeah, the bears tend to bite the water.
So I love that excuse. I must use the same one when I get my dildos delivered. It's to protect my pipes from bears.
This is the time.
Water pipes. I've completely lost the thread now.
Okay, so this has now been nominalized to mean the drinking of coffee by putting no, and then we can say ga skides to say I like this.
Oh, I see. Yes, that's where the light comes in, doesn't it? Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the bit you really want is the while I'm doing it. So it's tomodachi no.
Not no, but tomodachi.
Tomodachi no.
So for ao, although
ni, isn't it?
Yeah, ni or to.
Yeah, and the verb is ao, I believe.
It is. But what tense should it be in?
Continuous tense.
Cool.
Awate iru?
No. Ao becomes, what's the te form of ao?
Aite.
Atte.
Ate.
Yeah.
I've got that one wrong on my notes. Ate. Okay, so Tomodachi ni atte iru toki.
Good. That's it. Well done. Good.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Good. Excellent. Tomodachi to atteru toki, kohi o nomu no ga suki desu. This could also be done as Tomodachi ni atta toki. And then the rest of it can be the same.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because you have to meet your friend first, don't you?
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because you think, well, hang on a second, atta should come after atteiru. This is after the meeting, right? Atta. But we can't, for this first verb here, we can't think about this in English, and we shouldn't think about it in past, present, and future. We should say incomplete, yet, being completed, or has been completed. So the meeting isn't the process of being together. Actually, that's atteiru. The process of meeting and now being together is atta. Atta. This has been completed. I've now met my friend, and now we're drinking coffee together.
I've met my friend. We like to drink coffee. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So this is why I say you can't start with your own language and translate it into Japanese. Kim, go ahead.
How would you say that you will have a coffee after you met your friend?
To mean the meeting's finished and they've now gone away somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Aiowatta. Aiowatta. Aiowaru. Aiowaru.
Ah, from finishing.
Yeah.
End of the meeting.
Right. Yes. Aiowattara. Hitori de, by myself, kohi o nomimasu. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Tomodachi ga inai kara. Okay. I think
Just sad to go drink coffee alone. Tim.
yeah, I know, it's me. I don't have any friends. Okay. Who hasn't been yet? Is it only David? Has everybody else had a go? Yeah. Okay, David. When I came to Japan, I bought this map at the airport.
Okay, past tense. Nihon ni itta toki.
Good. Itta toki.
Airport. Kuko de.
Yep. Good. Kuko de.
Kono chizu o kaimashita.
Good. Chizu
Kaimashita.
Kaimashita. Excellent. Good. Cool. So just before we finish, so up to recently, up to this lesson, I expect, I've always put suita in this point here. Suita to mean to reach. I've only done this because you might think, well, if I use iku, ita is in the past tense, it becomes confusing. But this, in this sentence, for example, ita toki and suita toki are completely interchangeable. This still means when I'm at the, yeah, exactly, yeah. When I have arrived and when I went, when the going had been completed, when I had travelled to Japan, when that part had been completed. I am now in Japan, the travel is completed. So I can say Narita de kono chizu o kaimashita. I can say I bought it in Narita. Yeah. Cool. Any questions, guys? Excellent. Let's go to the
ありがとうご
お
ざい
疲れ様でした。
ありがとう。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
So
when are
お
we
願いし
having
ま
the
す。
10 meeting explanations, 10 minutes explanation from Monia? Is it now?
No.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, Machiavelli.
I just know a very, very nice game with the cards called Machiavelli, which is
Oh, yes, that's true.
Right.
Yes.
when we met at the next seminar, I will explain.
Or you can play Assassin's Creed 2 and 2B, and he's in the game. Machiavelli. Yeah.
And I'll bring the beers.
To Assassin's Creed or to card game?
Next
Matrix.
seminar.
Watch out for him, Manya. He's very slew.
じゃあね、皆さん、ありがとうございました。
じゃあね。
気をつけて。
気をつけて。